Hey everyone, Anders here with another episode of Retail on the Go for you. Today we're talking with Bradley from the Donut Trap about how he's bringing fresh, handmade donuts to vending machines and all the challenges and creativity behind it. Ready? Let's go.
All right, welcome back to Retail on the Go. We've got a great show again today. Again, my name is Russ Russell. I've been that familiar face. I do feel really bad because one of my other faces, Anders, who is our producer and now a guest host, I did not introduce him last time, and I feel terrible about it. So, Anders, if you wanted to introduce yourself to all the listeners.
Oh, good, man. Well, yeah, like I said, Anders, and I'm the content marketing manager at Cantaloupe. So I was more of a behind-the-camera guy last season. Now we're moving forward. I'm going to get in front of the camera here and chime in a little bit here now that I've got a little bit more experience under my belt in the industry. And yeah, I think we're going to have a really great show today.
Awesome. I am excited, and we've got a great show planned. We've got a great new guest, kind of sticking with the theme that we talked about last time, that we're really jumping into different and unique technologies and different types of unattended retail and how we're working with it. So we've got Bradley with the Donut Trap. I can't wait to dive in and talk about his business and journey and entrepreneurial, how he got here. I'll let him introduce himself, and then we're gonna dive right in.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to say thank you first for having me. It was nice talking to you guys, getting to know you before we hopped on. My name is Bradley Taylor. I'm the owner of the Donut Trap and your vending machine whisperer.
Vending machine whisperer. Excellent. I like that. But now I gotta ask, where did the name Vending Machine Whisperer come from?
That's kind of funny. I feel like one of my friends really just low-key just put it in the group chat, was like, bro, I feel like everything that we talk about, in questions that I come at you with, it's just very full, engaging, and just it's full of gems. And I was like, okay. And he was like, Vending Machine Whisperer, man.
I like
voice
that.
Note too.
I like that.
Thank you.
Well, awesome. Well, I mean, honestly, the easiest way to dive in is just let's tell the listeners, what is the Donut Trap?
Yeah, so the Donut Trap is we're specialized donut vending machines. We're based out of St. Paul, and we make some of the best donuts in the state. I'm not gonna lie, it's all facts.
And it's okay.
Yeah,
flex it.
Hey. I'm just saying, and
I love them.
Yeah, we have all sorts of flavors from your kooky Fruity Pebbles. We just launched our a deconstructed version of a Dubai donut, Dubai chocolate donut, and it's been going like crazy, and it's been really fun.
Awesome. That's super cool. I was trying to think about it, and I'm like, the only thing I've even seen close to the concept was when I lived in Fort Worth, Texas. There was a donut truck, food truck. I can't remember the name of it at all, but they had some wild donuts. I think my favorite one, I don't remember what else it had on it. It had pistachios. Never thought I'd eat a donut with pistachios. But that's the first thing that came to my mind. Of course, I do love donuts. Who doesn't? But especially when they get a little wild. No, and so that's what the Donut Trap is. So I'm sure everybody can go to the website and everything else. We'll give the link and stuff at the end. But I'm assuming so. It's just the vending machine. You got the donuts. Are they on rings, or how are they stored? Are they in boxes?
Yeah. So they're in their cute little individual boxes, kind of what a Big Mac will come in, and it has a cool little see-through window in it, so you could check it out. They're all in the vending machine, and they're on conveyor belts, so it's a nice little VIP concierge kind of experience when you order the donut. It's just you see it, and then it's slowly rolled off into its little elevator, and it just brings it down and basically right into your hands.
Very nice. And I probably should wait until we're during your startup story, but I'm going to actually go ahead and ask anyways. So where did you find the vending machine? Is it custom made for you? How did you get that?
So that was a long process, I'm not gonna lie. So when I sat on the notion of having a vending machine probably 2015, but that kind of fell by the bottom because we gotta got a chance to do a storefront and then the food truck and all that stuff. And then it didn't really come back to the forefront of my mind until COVID, when, everything, I just got to sit down and really think about it. And I was like, I really want to do this, but also too, in Minnesota, it's like you can't just put it out on the street or whatever. It's subject to like so many different elements and stuff like that. And so I reached out, I just Googled like vending machines and then just started there, and then reached out to a person who was like, hey, this is what I want to do. And then he was like, donuts, bro. Like, what? No, what are you talking about? Like, you want candy bars? So we got you, and stuff. And he was like, but I would recommend you to this person. And then as I was like kind of passed along, I started picking up the knowledge, the terminology, and then really started to put together the pieces of like how I wanted it to be, and also address different metrics of like the design of it. It was like, if you're paying for a premium product, like, would you respect it as much if you just see it flop to the floor like, a regular donut, or like this and that? So it's just like really trying to craft an experience like around it, because that's also what we're known for. It's like when you come to our shop or whatever, it's like we're just really cool with you and just like really want to get to know you, and try to replicate that through like a vending machine. So by the time I got to like the Grand Master, it was this company out of Miami. I think they moved to Vegas now, but was like sat with me and was like, okay, let's walk through this. And then we went over it for like 6 months, and then like I want to say like that February, we put our first location in Can Wonderland building. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. It's a great spot for it.
It's so nice. I love that spot.
And I apologize because I was so curious about the actual machine, and our listeners are a lot of operators, so that we do see some unique machines. So I definitely jumped ahead.
No, you're cool.
But I really should have let you just start. Like, what inspired you to start the Donut Trap? Like, what was the early stages of of the business? How you got off the ground? Way before you got sounds like way before you got to vending. Like just kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so I guess how I got into it all starts with where I grew up and where I'm from. I'm from Watts, California, and out in California, like, we have actual like standalone donut shops. Like, I know you do a lot of business in Texas and so forth. You probably see a lot of standalone donut shops. So when I decided to complicate my life and move to Minnesota for college, I was like, dude, I'm craving a donut. Where can I go? And people were like, dude, you just go to the gas station or the grocery store. And I was like, you only do that if you're like really desperate, like at least back in LA. So, school got in the way, a lot of partying, and just really trying to interweave myself into the social fabric of the Midwest culture. And I didn't really think about it until my senior year, like when I had some time again to sit down. And I was just like, dude, I really want a donut. I just got back from spring break from hanging out with my family back in LA. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to make these things. So I was just looking through like different Etsy recipes and whatever I can get my hands on. And then one of my homegirls like sent me a recipe from a grandma's friend or something in Arkansas, whatever. And I started to make like these donuts. And like every Sunday it was like, I got to make my own like dozen donuts. And I guess back in college it was kind of weird for you to go over your homie's house like hungover, and dude is just making fresh donuts, and stuff like that. So you can imagine that word quickly got out, and stuff like that. And it just got to a point where I was just like, people knocking on my door that I didn't even know. So I was like, okay, this is something. The donuts are starting to taste really good and so forth. Maybe I could start selling these and whatever. And essentially I started like selling them just out of my like kitchen and stuff like that. And then once we all graduated, like those same people who were like ordering those donuts and eating them, like they got, office jobs, and they started ordering them for office and all that stuff. And I didn't know anything about the food industry, so I didn't know if I was making money. I just know I was spending up a long late nights making these things. So I went and reached out to this dude who lived down the street or had a place down the street. He had like a food truck and stuff, and he taught me the whole food game, you know. But I was basically a volunteer. I was like there every day cutting like 50 pounds of onions, carrots, whatever for free. In return, he was just like, bro, this is how you cut an onion, shave time. This is how you like cut a potato, shave time. This, that. And he's just giving me these jewels. And from that, I was able to like kind of put together an actual business plan around it. Now that I knew how much had an idea of how much I was making off per donut and stuff like that. So I was like, dude, like I can't keep having people like order donuts. There has to be a better way to capture a broader sense of like audience with the least amount of like labor intensive capital doing this like hand to hand stuff. So I started doing pop-ups in Dinkytown where it was like I approached like a t-shirt shop or whatever non-competing place, and they're like, yeah, I like it. And literally like once we will be like, okay, we'll do it Friday or Saturday, I can't remember. Jeez, it was so long ago. But I would just like start getting momentum, be like, hey, we're doing a pop-up shop here. Here's flyers printed all over like Facebook groups and all that. And like every Friday or Saturday, it was like lines like around the block. And essentially what that did was like a couple of things. Was one, validate the product and then also myself. And it really allowed us to really get some type of notoriety within like the community and stuff like that. So when we kind of started to exhaust like doing pop-ups, we approached a storefront that was empty for the longest. It was like, hey, I don't know anything about this, but you could talk to other people in the community that we've done business with, and it's going really well. We want to do a shop, and he took a chance on us. And that's where we started the first shop. And at the time, it was under the name Suit Nuts. But yeah, it was fun getting to learn how to actually run a business, around it, like taxes, paying for employees, like being open all the time, and all that stuff. And then also create a sense of community and build an audience. And that was really fun. And we ran that for about 2.5 years. And then this weird thing happened when like Tim Hortons came in or whatever and stuff like that. And it just wasn't good for like both sides, meaning the landlord and everything. So lucky for me, I was wanting to do a food truck for a while, so I actually bought a food truck in Cali last time I was there. And then once I was like, yo, I'm not messing with you anymore, like whatever, I was basically like, yo, ship that thing down here. And basically we took all our stuff out of the storefront and moved it into the food truck, and then we're a donut food truck. And then that was like his whole other thing, getting to know that. And
what year did you start the brick and mortar store?
I want to say like 2014, 2015. It was probably like a year after I graduated, like in 2013.
And then you were there for like 2.5 years, and then you started you moved into the food truck.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, and that was fun. Like you're not succumb to like four walls, so like it opens up everything. But the food truck game is tough, man. It's really tough. It's not as fun as it looks, It's
gotta be a hustle.
It is a hustle. I give props to dudes who are out there like hitting the streets hard every day, and even late night too, stuff like that. Because man, like in between your truck breaking down, equipment not working, like and stuff like that, it is rough, But when you do hit your stride, it's fun, being able to go to like all these different places that you didn't even know about. Like I got invited to like a polo like club in the middle of Minnesota that I never knew existed, except for like this group of people, and it was like really interesting.
And so I guess we're like 2016 or so, 2016 or around, you did food truck, and then so it was just straight food truck until COVID?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Food truck and farmers markets.
Farmers markets. And so COVID hits February, March 2020. Obviously everything kind of everything shut down. I mean, it was obviously a wild time that we can all say we lived through. And so I'm assuming, like you said earlier, like right there is kind of where the vending machine concept came to life, right?
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, it was just so crazy, you know. Like I was really scared to really put it out. Like I feel like I kept going back and forth because I was like, dude, like people don't associate vending machine with donuts, let alone any type of like fresh, like kind of ingredient, like fresh product in general. You know, like yeah, maybe if we're like in Japan or something like that, sure, that like they're already been on that. But like here, especially in a place like Minnesota, where it's just like, what? You know, like I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And honestly, the prior building where Can, Black Second, all of them are, like, couldn't have been a better like place just because it's huge. It's just weird enough for our brand to like coexist in there, and it's a cool little ecosystem. They have a really great audience of people that all frequent there. And my partner Ashley was like, dude, you can't. This is a blank slate right here, because like when we were operating under Suit Nuts, like I just said Suit Nuts just because like I didn't even know what to call it, and it was just moving so fast, you know. And like she was like the donut trap, like let's just call it that. And it's kind of funny the double meaning behind it. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you're trapping me with donuts, but the trapping is really the trapping out of my apartment building. And like I was like, cool, it's easy to spell, because I'll be like talking to bankers and stuff. I'll be like SSDUD blah blah, and they'd be like, wait, what was that again? And I'm like, dude, I'm so over repeating myself. So we rebranded as the Donut Trap, which we come to know now.
very, very nice. So, and we go back to the beginning because I jumped ahead earlier. You worked with a company, and you said it took like what, 6 months or so to try to get the machine kind of dialed in and everything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's called like Make or so. Now, like we did like 9 machines with them, and I'm actually taking a break on machines right now because this kind. I guess we're kind of jumping around.
That's what a podcast does. It's okay.
Yeah. So now, about a year and a half ago, we actually purchased a building right by Concordia University. We're moving all our distro and manufacturing, like our HQ there. So, and it's going to be a lot more stuff there too. And I kind of really want to just focus on that, building it up, because as much as it is going to be a place of business and commerce, you know, and stuff like that, it's also going to have a huge communal aspect to it, similar to what we had at the shop. So we're going to have like an outdoor patio. We're going to have on one side a community garden where we'll be growing like a lot of like our in-season like produce and stuff that we'll be able to incorporate into our donuts and stuff like that.
Nice.
And then also host classes and stuff for people in the community, and a whole range of things. It's going to be sexy for sure. So I kind of took a step back on doing more locations because I just want to make sure that we get that online. Hopefully, I want to say late spring, like early summer of this year.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so I think you said it a minute ago. So how many total machines do you have like out throughout Minneapolis?
Yeah. So our last one. Go ahead. I'm sorry. What was that?
I say Minneapolis or St. Paul. I don't know if there's like a rival. I don't know if there's a rivalry there.
No, I think they coexist. There's a little pettiness in between. What would you say, Anders? You're a St. Paul too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep.
Yeah.
A little pettiness for sure. It's all good fun.
Just want to make sure I wasn't offending anybody.
It's cool. And, we have them in both St. Paul and Minneapolis, and then the one outlier that I guess you can claim maybe St. Paul and Minneapolis is Rosedale, which is technically like a suburb, but it's literally touches both those places. Funny enough, our ninth and last location that we just put in was back at the U of M campus, which was kind of cool to see it come to like a full circle moment, and stuff like that. And it's been really fun. People who come through and be like, I remember this place, and stuff like that. And then see new people kind of forming a relationship with it and trying our product too for the first time.
Very nice. And kind of focusing on the machine a little bit. So you had to get it custom made and everything else. And a lot of our listeners and stuff are more standard food and beverage operators and what you think of when you think of vending. And they have issues all the time with machines, specifically glass front beverage machines, the ones everybody likes at the airport. It has a little arm that comes over. Like 75% of operator service calls are for those, right? They have a lot of issues. So with these machines, because they're custom made, they've got the conveyor belt and everything else. Have you seen a lot of like mechanical issues with them, or pretty not so much, or like how do you handle those?
Yeah, that's a good tip for especially for new vendors, is make sure that you have like some type of SOPs written in to address any technical like aspect of diagnosing your vending machine. And I had to learn that the hard way. For us, I want to say it's not really that complex of a machine, very kind of like analog-ish in a way. The only thing that kind of will get a little touchy and complex is the sensors, because essentially what it does, it adjusts the internal cabin temperature to whatever its external temperature is to maintain a like comfortable temp of like 65, maybe 70, 75 degrees. And
because it doesn't ever get cold in Minnesota.
Yeah, exactly. And what's cool is that like I didn't really want to use any heating sources or cooling sources because those things require so much power and stuff like that. So I always want to stay away from that, and I learned that really through having our food truck. So basically, essentially, what it does is that like it's a fan and vents that just bring in air and then put out air. So it's just like kind of just like keeping that in. If the air gets too hot, it just sends it out. So it's nice because it keeps our donuts fresh, which have like a shelf life of 3 days. But we normally like to get rid of those around 2. Like if you had them at 3 days, you'd be like, these are still pretty good. But like someone who like made them and's been eating them for way too long, be like, oh, they're already starting to like get to that in half-life of themselves,
Lose that sparkle a little bit. And so I'm assuming, obviously you started in your own kitchen back in the day. I'm assuming you're about to get to a big new spot and everything else. But are you still, at least up to this point, have you still been like, do y'all make them in the food truck and then stock the machines? Do you have a commercial kitchen? Like how are you making them, keeping them fresh, getting them stocked?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I got rid of that busted truck probably like a couple of years ago and sold it to some people in Alabama. That was a whole story by itself. Crazy.
Another time.
Yeah, another time, dude, for sure. Off air, for sure. So yeah, we're done with that. And surprisingly enough, actually, we still make our donuts in the same kitchen with the guy who taught me how to make the donuts. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's lit, dude. I love that, man. Shout out to Potters for sure. And it's just starting to get to that point though where it's just like, dude, like our production level just alone and footprint is just, having roommates can be a lot, so it's like just by like the naturalness of growth, it's like, okay, we're starting to see the seams and we got to start making moves, and whatnot. But the commercial kitchen is going to be nice just because it's like your own spot. You go from having roommates to be able to leave that soda on the table and still be there the next day, if you did. So, and with that too, being able to really create your own specific workflow processes, like having to coexist in a spot, it's, you're just, if it's going like that, you're trying to put things in between that line. But here, if the flow is just even, that's just what it is across the board of your workflow. And especially in food, in a fresh product, it's so important to make sure that you have efficient like workflow processes, because everything matters, dude. From how many like sprinkles you're putting on to how many donuts you can put on a tray and get frosted, like all that time matters. So we're really looking forward to being able to have our own space to be able to do that, and especially as we expand more to like be able to do other things like catering, maybe do wholesale, and a bunch of other things too. Like I'm really stoked about.
Yeah, all the possibilities. One question I didn't ask, which I have to ask, Cantaloupe, we're at our core, we're a payments company. So just a very random but on topic question: y'all's machines, are they just cashless? Do they take cash?
Yeah. So they're actually they're all cashless. I know one thing that I did. The first dude who hit me, one gym he brought, he was like, "If you can, don't do cash, dude." He was like, "You'll be changing those things out all the time. They gum up, whatever." And I was like, "Ugh, I don't want that," you know. And then naturally, just the way society is flowing to a more cashless like thing, I was like, "Cool." So right now we're through our terminals are like NIACs or whatever, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, Andres can cut that later.
No, I know. I hope you get what I'm saying.
No, it's good. Like I said, we're trying to get the overall unattended retail.
Yeah.
And one more operational question I think I would say is like, like, so if you've been filling, like, you got 9 machines, right? Like, are you filling them? Do you have, like, as we would call it, route drivers? Like, who's putting the donuts in the machine?
Yeah, so I used to fill them, and I still will. You know, we have an awesome stocker who will go and fill the machines. And I got an important thing that that I forgot to address, especially in this operational segment, is the data, right? It's like, especially for fresh food or whatever in vending, you know, being able to look at the data and see what's moving and what's not, and be able to leverage that data is super, super like important. Especially for us when we have such a short shelf life, it's really imperative to get to be familiar with that. So, like, you know, when we're opening up a location, it's always like, let the data tell the story. So we always give it like a 3-month window where it's like, okay, let's say for the U of M, like, we're seeing the cookies and cream, the double chocolate Oreo, the Fruity Pebbles and so forth all starting to go. And on those on particular days and at particular times, we're starting to really see like those peaks of stuff going. Same for like Can Wonderland and stuff like that. So being able to leverage that and be able to stock those accordingly to what the audience is like basically demanding is really helpful, and really also helps eliminate as much food waste as possible. So get to know your data for sure, like super important.
100%. That obviously.
Great
So
point.
we have our vending management system. Caleb was the first.
Mm-hmm.
We are very proud to say, and we do think we are the best system. But it is all about data, and especially in the world we live in. The term we use for that is merchandising. We have some powerful tools to help you merchandise the machine correctly. If you've got a bad selling SKU, you want to get it out of there. And if you've got a bomb selling SKU, you might need multiple rows of that. So, you know, it's super big that you said look at the data. 100% anybody doing unattended retail and anything needs to look at the data, and don't just go with your gut, because that doesn't work anymore. You gotta follow the data flow for sure.
Oh yeah, like what's that saying, like stocking the machine with what you like versus what sells.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, like if you have a machine in Jiffy Lube, I don't think because you like cookies and cream, protein bars, and kombucha juice, I don't think that's going to move pretty good with the dudes at Jiffy Lube. It's like, listen to what it is. So definitely.
And just a curious question. So obviously storefront, food truck, like you could do this, and there are definitely ways in our industry that we do this. Do you have any kind of like loyalty program or anything else that interacts with the machine, so you can track like repeat customers and stuff like that, or is it just all transactional data?
Yeah, so it is transactional data, but and right now, like the software that's loaded into the machine is like your generic one size fits all, and like it's cool, but like you said, we want more transparency of who our customers are, and right now we're actually developing our own software to upload that will give us that, you know, whether it's more transparency with the customers, also being able to diagnose and upload things more remotely, and then just have better like autonomy with it, you know. So yeah.
Very nice. Yeah, I was just curious on that.
No, it's important.
So obviously, as a small business owner, entrepreneur, you learn lots of lessons, and you typically learn those from mistakes, and that's a good thing. If you had to pick one, I know that's the toughest question ever. If you had to pick one, the most important lesson you've learned through this journey with Donut Trap, what do you think that is?
Yeah. learn your machine, learn that thing inside and out, like for real. Like the more time that you are spending slapping out of order stickers on it, the less money that thing is bringing in. You know, like get to know it like inside out. Like it should be like to a point. Like I know, like whenever my stalker is telling me like, hey, like I see this and that happen, but like, oh, it's already that. And they'd be like, for real? And I'll be like, yeah, touch this button, this fault diagnosis, clear it, and then turn it off for like 3 seconds and then turn it back on. Like, for real? Yeah. And then literally it'll happen. Because just like, dude, if it's not making money, like, it's not, like, what are we here for? You know? Literally. Like, and it is a business. We're trying to make a check.
Yeah.
Let's make a check.
Absolutely. We're not doing this. We're doing it because we like it, but we're doing it to make money.
Exactly, dude.
And you said something like pretty early on, like that you found the guy with the food truck and he taught you all about food because you didn't know anything about food or the food industry before. You know, specifically on the food side of things, what's some of the, you know, what's one of the most important things you think you could tell somebody specifically starting within that food industry, especially like fresh food like you have?
Yeah, I think really get to know like your audience and learn to leverage like what it is that the audience is demanding. Like I know, like when you see your typical vending machines, you always see like, you know, the Doritos and stuff like that, and the Snicker bars, and as it goes down it gets more granular, then you hit like the little 25-cent gum, whatever and stuff. But like that doesn't have to be the case. You know, if you're in an area, let's say East St. Paul, like, or I mean not East St. Paul, like let's say West Side St. Paul, where it's like mostly Hispanic, it's like maybe you want to stock it more with like Hispanic like goods that people like, you know, and stuff like that. Like you're not gonna go in there and sell like try to sell hamburgers or whatever. I don't even know. Like do what makes sense, like what moves, and also just conduct some type of simple market research. You know, like go in there and talk to the people and ask what they're missing, you know, or what do you like. Like I know I was talking to our son and he was like, dude, like when we go to, let's say, Rosedale or whatever, like the kids want more and more of these type of donuts. Like, and I'll just look at it and be like, what kind of snacks are you guys eating? You know, and stuff like that, whether it's Takis or whatever new like Japanese snack that they're into and stuff like that. It's like, okay, well, how can I dissect that into a donut, and then from there take that in and then create a whole cool like marketing rollout around it and put that in the vending machine, you know, and it's like, oh, cool. And then next thing you know, they're moving, you know. Like I always tell my bakers, I'm like, be as expansive in your thinking as you can and be as creative, because like in the end it's just a donut, bro, you know. Not trying to be Gordon Ramsay or get a Michelin star or whatever. It's like just have fun and don't take it too serious. And if you have a flop, like that's okay, because the sales would tell you, they're like, yo, the Cookie Crisp donut didn't move, it's trash. And that's cool. It's all right. Take it back in, we'll start something else, you know, and stuff like that. Like, and always talk to your customers through like all different mediums, like especially social media. It's like we're always talking to people, sending DMs and stuff like that. But like, yo, I saw you tag this and this. What would you like about it? Like, what, you know, just getting that feedback. You know, like one of my favorite things is, especially when I'm at Can, especially late night when people's judgment is a little bit more clouded and stuff like that. I'll just go and like stand and like act like I'm picking something out of the machine, and then like people who are curious or whatever who like like walk by, be like, yo, how many out of your tones? I was like, yeah, they're fire, dude. I'm just my third one. They'd be like, for real? And then literally there'll be like 5 people behind me. Like, you know,
I love it.
Yeah.
You gotta grind.
Great marketing.
Yeah, and you just talk to them, be like, how come you didn't stop the first time? They'd be like, well, I didn't know how fresh they were and stuff like that, you know. And it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, here we go. I'm telling you right now, here's one in my hand. I'll get you one if you want, you know, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we're kind of coming close to the time, so we'll start wrapping up. But I guess the last question I'd say is telling listeners and stuff. I mean, this is for any kind of entrepreneurial journey and everything. Is just like, what keeps you motivated, inspired to keep innovating, to keep going? Obviously you made it through COVID. You got the reason we're talking right now is because you have a donut vending machine that you had to innovate, all because of the COVID and everything. So what inspires you? What keeps you going?
I think the need to just like keep growing. I think especially depending on whatever industry you're in. I think it's, if you opt into that industry, it's like you should also add something to it, not just take away from it. It's like, just because donuts, like I want to elevate it more. How much more can I elevate just a donut, and or just anything revolving around that whole ecosystem. It's like, let's just elevate and just keep going. Like, let's push. Like, who cares? So I just want to keep moving and shaking and keep working and twerking.
I love it. I love it. Well, this is the portion of the show where you do absolute shameless plugs and throw out the social media handles and everything else. So like, where can people where can people find you on social media to continue like following your journey and everything else? Also, how do you I don't live in Minnesota, right? But like our one of our headquarters is there, and so I do go occasionally. So like I obviously I could just hit you up or Andres now, but like I go to Minneapolis. Like, how do I find a donut trap machine? Like, what do I do?
Definitely. I mean, you can always look on our website, thedonuttrap.com. I would say the best way though to find out is really just go through our Instagram and Facebook or TikTok. Just because, it gives you like a live feed of what's going on, people's reaction, everything, like more raw version of who we are. Website polish, we're going to prom, and that's what's up. Or really, or just send me a DM, whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Our call list. Also, definitely check out I also consult with people too. Just to let them, they don't have to make the mistakes that I made, like costing money. It's like, hit me up. Get my little ebook, whatever, and basically get past all those steps and start at step, 8, then -0, whatever. So, yeah.
Very nice. And what's the website? What's the handles? Throw those out there for us.
Yeah, so we got for our actual one is thedonuttrap.com. You could check our Instagram, and all our socials are at thedonuttrap.com. For my actual consulting thing is thevendingtrap.com. So check that out, and also on our Instagram too, thevendingtrap.com too as well.
Sweet. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, and I'm going to ask this probably to everybody that we shoot before it happens. Are you by chance going to be at NAMA this year in Vegas, the vending show, to see what it's all about?
I actually just saw an email for that like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, I want to go. I really want to go. Are you guys going to be there? Well, yeah, you're going to be there. Right?
We'll have one of the biggest booths there. It's our industry, and especially our company's Super Bowl. The fact that it's in Vegas, I mean, it's going to be twice as big as it always is because everybody wants to go to Vegas, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to be there. I'd love to meet you in person.
Bro, that would be lit.
Last year was sick too.
I'll make sure. Me and Andres make sure you get all the info, but you got to go to NAMA. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe you even you drive a truck down there and set up a donut trap machine outside the thing. I don't know. We'll kick that on something else. But
that sounds dope. That sounds really cool.
Before I wrap us up, say, I don't know when the next time is for sure, but next time I'm in Minnesota, I go to Donut Trap Vending Machine. Which flavor do I have to have?
Dang. Because I'm not going to lie, the ones that I like the most, I actually had to selfishly take off because I was eating them too much. I would say one that you can never go wrong with is the thick Judge Judy, dude.
Judge Judy. I mean, that's just intriguing enough to do it. I mean, I said pick one. Truth is, I'm probably going to have more than one.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say one.
It's hard to buy Judge Judy is a thing, for real.
The thick Judge Judy, I love it.
Yeah, it's our cookies and cream one. It's so fire, dude. Yeah. Just the texture, the flavor depth of it is really cool. And then one that's a low-key sleeper that's kind of just boring is our Tatiana. It's a our churro roll, like cinnamon and sugar one with a tres leche drizzle on it. Sexy. I love it.
All right, now we gotta stop on that. We gotta stop on that because I'm gonna get too hungry. Like I'm visualizing it. I'm tasting it. This is good, but not good. But no, Bradley, I know me and I just really appreciate the time. Love hearing kind of the story and the journey. I encourage everybody to follow Bradley, follow the Donut Trap. It's a lot easier to spell than the previous name, and just keep following along with the journey. And man, we really again appreciate the time. Love to listen to it, and I hope all of our listeners got a lot out of it. And always we're gonna keep popping these out a lot more than previous times, and there's gonna be a lot of fun, unique stories, and unique concepts around unattended retail, just like a donut vending machine. I've been in the industry and I've never seen one, so we're gonna keep finding a lot of this. But I love it. But tune in again, and we'll see you next time on Retail on the Go.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm gonna be happening for sure.
Excellent.
All right, peace.